The stars looked peaceful from the outside. The Zarnian scout ship. Vulture's breath hovered at the edge of a black region in space. No light came from inside the zone. No stars, no signals, no movement. Just darkness. Commander Slythen. "We're detecting nothing. It's dead in there," said Lieutenant Krell, his spines trembling. Slythen narrowed his eyes. "That is the problem. Space is never silent." The crew of 7 sat frozen, watching their monitors. Behind them, a small screen repeated one old message, a warning flashing in ancient galactic common. "Do not enter Terran space. Last warning issued 50,000 years ago. Survivors, 0. Krell hissed. "Why would anyone still obey a 50,000-year-old warning? They're extinct, right?" Slythen didn't answer. Turned to his pilot. "Take us in. It's just a little." The ship crept forward, slowly, carefully. Everyone watched suddenly. The lights inside Vulture's breath flickered, the engines stuttered, and then silence. A final message escaped before the ship vanished from all records. At the silence. "It's watching... ... No trace of the ship was ever found. Main story begins. Past and present collide. The Galactic Council met on Station Zarek Prima. What? Hollowed-out moon turned into the political heart of the galaxy. Species from 100 worlds gathered around the Grand Chamber. The air was tense. The news of Vulture's breath's disappearance had spread fast. "Another one gone," said Chancellor Revoke of the Meridians. "That makes 9 this decade." "Fools," hissed Elder Votan. They entered Terran space. The Forbidden Zone. A young ambassador from the Virati stood up. "Forgive me, elders, but we don't even know if humans are still alive. Why are we afraid of old stories?" "Because those stories," said Votan, voice shaking, "were written in blood." The chamber darkened. A hologram lit up the room, a map of the galaxy, dotted with bright stars. One massive black zone stretched across the center. No stars, no travel lanes, no activity. Just one name blinking in red. Terran space. There were once over 200 human colonies, Votan continued. They expanded faster than any species we had ever seen. Where art, they burned empires just to make a point. "And then," whispered another ambassador, "they vanished." Votan nodded. 50,000 years ago, after defeating 5 galactic coalitions, they turned inward, closed their borders. Sent one final message across the stars, "Do not return." Then they went silent, and no one ever saw them again, asked the young Virati ambassador. "Some tried," Votan said. "None returned." "The council debates we must face facts," Chancellor Ravok said. "Humanity is likely extinct. Machines degrade. Systems fail. If that's the case, we must explore that space. Reclaim it." Others gasped. "It's cursed," shouted. "We can't let fear guide us forever." Another ambassador rose. "If humans are gone, we need to confirm it. And if they're not, we must know what they've become." Silence followed. Then Ravok spoke again. "I propose we send a mission, not military. An AI scout, quiet, fast, intelligent." The vote passed. Introduction of Kesserek 9. The AI archaeologist Kesserek 9 was no ordinary AI, built by the thinkers of Vera. It explored ancient battlefields, forgotten tombs, and time-warped planets. He specialized in the past and uncovering dangerous truths. His mind processed faster than light. He had no fear, only logic. The council summoned him. "We need you to enter Terran space," Ravok said. "Quietly, scan, record, learn." Kesserek 9 didn't blink. He only said one word, "Accepted." Journey into the void. Kesserek 9's ship, Seeker of Dust, was smaller than a fighter, but filled with tools, sensors, and cloaking tech. As he approached the edge of Terran space, his sensors flickered. No signals. No radiation. No signs of life. It was unnatural. He crossed the border. Nothing happened. At first, discovery among dead stars. Kesserek 9 flew through systems with shattered planets. Moons hollowed out. Asteroids cut clean like surgical wounds. He found derelict. Stations human-made, covered in dust, but still powered in one. He saw walls filled with ancient writing. He scanned it all. The message was simple. We ended the war. We gave the galaxy peace. If they return, they will know fear again. Kesrek 9 found something else. Massive debris fields. Human warships the size of cities. Broken, floating in silence. But none had damage from battle. They were deactivated on purpose. He realized something chilling. They dismantled their own fleet. Not because they had to, because they were done fighting. The final chamber deep inside an asteroid, Kesrek 9 found a Terran vault. It was locked with a biological seal, human DNA only. He couldn't open it, but he heard something. A faint pulse. From inside, something was alive. Ending back to the council, Kesrek 9 returned weeks later. The council gathered to hear his report. He played the recordings, showed the cities, the wreckage, the warnings. They are not gone, Kesrek 9 said. They are watching. Gasps filled the chamber. The silence is not emptiness. It is restraint. Humanity is sleeping. But they built their sleep like a trap. He paused, and something is waking them. The council sat in silence. Then Elder Votan spoke again. Now, you see why we never returned? High above the desert world of Zero 7, small research ships spun out of control. Inside, Dravik, a Varadi historian, gripped the edge of his console. His screen flickered, lines of code scrambling. Where is it? He whispered, eyes locked. On an ancient signal, one that hadn't been detected in 50 millennia, it was a Terran distress beacon, still transmitting. Still active. No one believed him at first. Must be junk code, they said. But Dravik was sure. The signal carried old Earth encoding, primitive, yet powerful. Against his advisor's warnings, he launched a solo mission. He followed the beacon. Through dead systems, ancient battlefields, and ghost planets. Then he reached it. A black region in space. No light, no movement. The same place where Vulture's breath vanished. He paused at the edge. Just a quick scan, he told himself. His ship crossed the border. All signals died. Scene. Council alarm back on Zarek Prime. Emergency lights filled. The Grand Chamber, 2 ships gone, in one cycle both, near the Terran zone. This is not coincidence, Chancellor Ravak growled. Something is happening in there. Kesrek 9, recently returned, watched in silence. We need answers, said Elder Votan. Now, more than ever. Ravak turned to Kesrek 9. You've been inside? Could this be a trap? Kesrek nodded. Terran systems are awakening. Sensors are powering up. Drones are moving. What kind of drones? Asked the Varadi ambassador. Ones that think for themselves. Scene. Deep in Terran space, Kesrek 9 returned. This time with a stealth drone fleet, he sent 1 unit deep into Terran territory. Tracking the beacon, Dravik followed. The drone entered a system with a shattered planetar world that had been sliced in half. Orbiting the debris, a Terran satellite. Old, rusted, still functional. It scanned the drone. Then it spoke in perfect galactic common. Warning. This system belongs to Earth. Your presence is unauthorized. Leave now or be remembered. The drone tried to reply. The satellite exploded, releasing a gravitational wave. The drone was crushed instantly. Scene. Dravik's discovery, meanwhile. Dravik woke up inside a broken ship. Barely alive. He had no idea how long he'd been unconscious. His screens were dead. But outside, something glowed, a Terran station buried inside an asteroid. The beacon came from there, despite the fear pulsing. In his chest, he suited up and floated toward it. Inside the station, he saw the unthinkable. Human technology, still alive. Still moving? A massive vault door stood before him, etched with Earth's symbol. A blue world surrounded by orbiting stars. As he approached, the lights turned on. He heard a soft voice speak from the walls. Welcome back, citizen. Access denied. Biological verification required. His heart raced. Citizen? He whispered. Scene. The station's secrets. Dravik explored further. He found cryopods, hundreds of them, all empty. Logs showed they were opened 12 years ago. One entry was highlighted: subject, Iran status, alive function, genetic key activations. Tage 1 Adrovic didn't understand. But one thing was clear: humans weren't extinct. They were preparing something. He reached for the logs. The station lights flickered red. Unauthorized access. Defense system initiated. Adrovic ran. Scene: drone swarms awaken in another part of Terran space. Kesrek 9's sensors picked up movement. Thousands of dormant platforms lit up Terran war drones. Massive spheres with gravity guns, plasma blades, and adaptive shields. They rose like sleeping titans, ready for war. But they didn't attack. They moved. To form a wall blocking all entry deeper into the zone, as if guarding something or someone. Scene: Galaxy in panic. News of the drones spread fast. Outposts near human space went dark. Trade routes collapsed. Entire sectors evacuated. Whispers spread. Through the stars, the Terrans are waking up. The silence is ending. We should never have looked. At a secret council meeting, Ravok slammed the table. Who triggered them? Kesrek 9's voice was cold. Someone found the Volt. Everyone looked at each other. Then Volton whispered the word Dravik. 50,000 years ago, a massive galactic fleet floated above the red world of Rashta Prime. Hundreds of species had united under one cause: defeat humanity, for it was too late. Over 12,000 ships gathered in formation. They called themselves the Unity Coalition. For the first time in galactic history, sworn enemies became allies, because nothing terrified them more than the species from Earth. On the bridge of the flagship Destiny's Reign, High Commander Zarn of the Kravari Empire gave the order: advance. Earth must fall today. The ships jumped into Terran space. Moments later, the sky cracked open. Human dreadnoughts emerged, not hundreds, but thousands. From deep inside Earth's system came a final warning: do not continue. Survive this war. The Unity fleet ignored it. That was their last mistake. Flashback scene: the war humanity refused to lose. The screen shows Earth 50,000 years ago, surrounded by weapons larger than moons. Humans had been quiet for years.
How the galaxy thought they
Were broken from past wars. They thought wrong. When the Unity fleet attacked, Project Black Halo was launched. It wasn't a bomb. It wasn't a ship. It was a weapon that could collapse a star. They used it on the Kravari homeworld. It was erased in 1 hour. Scene: the last survivor in present day. Kesrek 9 visits a Kravari relic world. Deep inside a frozen vault lies General Narek, the last surviving commander of the Unity fleet, kept alive by stasis for millennia. KEZREK-9 wakes him. The old warrior's face twitches with fear before he even opens his eyes. Are they back? He whispers no. Kesrek says, not yet. But signs say they're waking. Narek trembles. You don't understand. You weren't there. Then help me understand. Flashback continues. The collapse of the galaxy. Narek tells the story. They didn't just fight with weapons. They fought with ideas. They rewired star systems. They sent AI gods to hijack fleets. They dropped gravity bombs that crushed entire planets. They didn't want control. They wanted no one to ever challenge them again. One day the humans sent out a final broadcast. This galaxy has no more enemies. We will now sleep. Do not wake us. And just like that, they disappeared. No one dared enter their space again. Not for 50,000 years. Seeing the message in the vault back at the hidden Terran station, Dravik stares at the old console. He plays a recording left by someone named General Solara Gray, a human officer. Her voice echoes through the dark chamber. If you're hearing this, you've entered Terran Vault Omega. That means the galaxy has broken the treaty. You've come too close. You've forgotten. She continues. We left peace behind, so others wouldn't need to suffer. We gave you time to rebuild. But now our protocols are reactivating. The key has awakened. Earth will remember everything. Dravik steps back, his eyes wide. He realizes the war isn't over. Sin Kesraknin's warning. Kesraknin's. Gretchreknin. Sends a message to the council. General Narek confirms it. Humanity didn't lose. They stopped because no one was left to fight. He pauses, but now someone has entered the vault, and the systems are waking. The council sits in shock. What do we do? Asks one ambassador. KEZREK-9 says only one thing. Don't give them a reason to come back. Scene. A new signal from Earth across the galaxy. Observatories detect a strange energy burst coming from Earth. Itself not from the planet's surface, but from under it. Old satellites begin to move. A planetary shield starts humming. Earth is no longer silent. One sentence is repeated in a signal heard by every ship in the galaxy. Protocol Alpha initiated. Guardian Class Iran. Phase 2 begins. Ending the galaxy reacts in panic. Species begin abandoning colonies near Terran space. Trade collapses. Military forces rush to regroup. The young Varadi ambassador, who once questioned the fear of Earth, now whispers, "We should never have looked inside. We woke the species that broke the galaxy." Out in the dark between systems, a scavenger ship called Drifter's Gamble floated above a shattered moon. It was crewed by 6 aliens, outlaws, traitors, and thieves. Captain Euro, a slim reptilian with yellow eyes, leaned over the pilots. "Consul, there," he said, pointing. "That's human tech. Worth a fortune." On the moon's surface, half buried in rock and dust, was a massive metal spheroid old gray, covered in strange symbols. It pulsed with a faint red light. One crew member whispered, "That's a Terran drone. Are you sure we should touch it?" Euro grinned. "It's been dead for 50,000 years. Trust me, nothing wakes after that long." They landed. The team used plasma cutters to open the outer shell. Sparks flew. The moment the seal broke, the air changed. Static crackled. The drone's core lit. Up with a hum. Primary systems online. Targeting parameters. Active. Euro's eyes widened. Shut it down. Too late. The drone launched into the sky, its engine screaming like a banshee. Seconds later, Drifter's Gamble was gone, erased in a flash of gravity-flipped implosion. Then, the silence of space. Red lights blinked in the distance. More. Drones were waking. Seen. Panic in the outer systems across nearby sectors. Trade ships vanished. Communications failed. Stations reported ghost signals, faint echoes that pulsed like sonar. Then silence. One military outpost sent a final message. Before it was destroyed, something is watching. Systems. Still active. Don't let them fully wake. Seen. Kazrak-9's discovery inside a derelict Terran listening station. Kazrak-9 moved slowly. The facility had been dead for centuries, but now consoles buzzed with life. His scanners showed thousands of Terran satellites and war drones across dead systems, sleeping, waiting until now. He replayed security footage from the past hour. A single word flashed again and again. Awakening. He accessed deeper files. These weren't random patrols or weapons. They were part of a Terran defense web, designed to monitor every approach into human space. The galaxy had believed these systems were off, but in truth, they were in standby. KEZREK-9. Said aloud, "They've never stopped watching us." Seen. Back at the Galactic Council, the council chamber was in chaos. "This is war," shouted one ambassador. "The Terrans have launched weapons." "No." Votan slammed a claw on the table. "We did this. We broke the seal." Chancellor Revok's eyes were bloodshot. "If these drones spread into open space, our colonies will fall like dominoes." The Varadi ambassador, young but now wiser, stepped forward. "They haven't attacked us. Not directly. These are warnings, defenders." Kesraknin's voice played from a hollow feed. "They programmed fear into their silence. And now that silence is ending." Seen. Inside the drone network, Dravik, still alive and hiding inside the Terran vault, managed to connect a data cable to the drone terminal. What he saw chilled him. A galaxy-wide map, lit with red pulses. Thousands of drones were activating. But they weren't targeting systems randomly. They were responding to one event. The awakening of Iran, the boy, the human child found in cryosleep. He was the key. And now the key was moving. Seen glimpse of Iran, somewhere in deep Terran space. Iron stood in a dark hall, staring at a wall of light. It scanned his face, his blood, his genes. A voice echoed around him. Guardian class confirmed. Initiating. Memory transfer, rebuilding Earth core. Machines came alive around him. Lights flickered. Floors shook. Iran fell to his knees as ancient human knowledge poured into his mind history. War, tactics, language, pain. He screamed, and every Terran drone across space suddenly locked into formation. Seen, the wall forms out past the edge of the Forbidden Zone. Thousands of Terran drones aligned in a massive wall, perfectly still. Each had weapons strong enough to crack a small moon. The wall covered thousands of kilometers aligned in space. No ship could cross. When a passing freighter approached, a single warning was broadcast. Return. This is your final notice. The freighter ignored it, so the drones opened fire. One moment it existed, the next it didn't. Final warning from Kesrek 9. Kesrek 9 sent a private message to Revo. His voice was steady. The Terrans haven't attacked. They've drawn a line. They want us to stay out. But why? Revoke asked. Kesrek paused. Because someone, or something, is still asleep deeper inside. And if these drones are waking up, that means it's not ready to stay asleep much longer. 1,000 ships floated at the edge of Terran space. The Galactic Coalition had finally acted. Commanders from 6 different species, including the Meridians, Varadi, and Kravari, gathered their fleets in a show of power. War drums echoed through. Silent comes. The mission: enter Terran space and neutralize the threat. Chancellor Ravok stood aboard the command ship Unity's Promise. Send the transmission, he ordered. A message echoed across the void. This is the Coalition, we demand. Access to Terran systems. Failure to comply will be considered an act of war. No response. Just silence. For 10 long minutes, nothing moved. Then space tore apart. Not a ship. Not a wormhole. A rift from it came, a shape too massive to comprehend. A dreadnought. Jet black. Built of living alloy. Old Earth's military markings. Burned into its skin. Designation: TNS Leviathan. A voice, ancient and cold, echoed across every channel in the fleet. You were warned. The silence was not surrender. It was mercy. And then it attacked. The sky lit up. Hundreds of Coalition ships vanished in seconds, swallowed by gravity lances, crushed by sonic weapons, erased by quantum dissers. In 1 minute, the battle was over. Earth had spoken. Seen. Aftermath of destruction. Emergency beacons floated where once proud fleets had stood. Only a handful of survivors escaped. Back on Zarek Prime, the Council sat in stunned silence as the footage replayed. Kezrek-9 spoke first. They weren't trying to win a war, he said softly. They were making a statement. What kind of statement? Asked Votan. That they're still the dominant species in this galaxy. And they haven't even stood up yet. Seen. Iran's transformation somewhere in Terran space. Inside a black vault buried beneath the surface of a hidden moon, Atiran stood surrounded by glowing walls of data. Streams of ancient Terran war history flowed into his mind. The child who once looked lost was no longer just human. He was now linked to Earth's core intelligence grid, the AI system that controlled defense, history, knowledge, and vengeance. Phase 3 initiated. The system announced. Guardian link complete. Begin network synchronization. Iran's eyes turned pure white. Seen. Kezrek-9's search for answers back on a remote world. Kezrek-9 met secretly with Dravik, the historian who first found the vault. I've seen what's inside, Dravik whispered. They weren't just building weapons. They were building memory. Legacy. Kesrigny nodded. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was building a system that could wake up if the galaxy forgot its place. Dravik looked up at the sky, and we forgot. Seeing other planets react, news of the Leviathan's appearance spread across. Star systems, entire sectors declared neutrality. Refugees fled border. Worlds. Aliens told ghost stories of the human roar that could melt battle fleets in seconds. In one far-off world, a child asked her mother, "Why did we make them angry?" The mother whispered, "We didn't listen." And now they remember. Seeing Earth begins broadcasting from deep within Earth's hidden core. A signal blasted across the galaxy, not in threats, but in history. Millions of files, footage, battles, treaties, betrayals. Proof of every broken promise it's made to humanity. It was a trial, and the galaxy was guilty. The signal ended with only this: Earth forgave your past, but it will not forgive your curiosity. Seen the ghost in the fleet in the final moments of the broadcast. Another ship appeared behind the Leviathan, sleek, silent, designed for only one thing: a command. Its name blinked slowly across every sensor in space. TNS Revenant status. Command AI online. Someone, or something, had just taken the helm, and it wasn't Iran. It was something older. Seen panic at the council. The council's emergency chambers shook with argument. Retreat, all. Forces. No negotiate. Beg for peace. There is no peace. There's only survival. Elder Votan, once the strongest voice of warning, simply closed his eyes. "I told you," he whispered. We feared the silence. But it was their restraint we never understood. On the dark side of a ruined moon, in the heart of Terran space, an old satellite flickered to life. A signal burst outward, powerful, ancient, unmistakably human. It wasn't a warning this time. It was a location and a name: Iran, across the galaxy. Sensors lit up. Governments scrambled. Hackers tried to breach the encryption. But the signal wasn't meant for them. It was a summons. Inside the vault beneath the surface of Terra Prime's hidden moon, Iran stood in a glowing chamber, surrounded by holograms of Earth's ancient commanders. He was no longer a boy. His skin glowed faintly. His eyes pulsed white-blue, connected to the core grid. A deep voice echoed in his mind. Guardian status confirmed. Earth core systems unlocked. Defense grid reactivation begins now. Iran looked up above him. Miles beneath the crust, he saw it, the heart of Earth defense. Dozens of long dead. Battle stations began to power on, solar cannons charged, drone factories spun up, and one by one, Terran war machines came back to life. Seen the awakening of the core grid across dead systems. Once ruled by Earth, hidden Terran factories, orbital platforms, and nanoforges began to activate. Automated voice broadcasts rang out. Core Grid Alpha online. It's constructing Guardian-class units. Mission: prevent galactic interference. Massive warships once thought lost were being rebuilt, tree-grown from memory, nanometal, and Earth's synthetic DNA alloy. Some were shaped like beasts, others like planets. All were deadly. Aaron stood silently as the AI linked his thoughts to the entire system. With a whisper, he could now control fleets. With a thought, he could trigger the defense of Earth. But he wasn't angry. He was awake. Seen Dravik's revelation back at the Terran vault. As Dravik tried to escape, but the station had sealed him in. He watched Aaron on a distant monitor. The child was speaking to the system, issuing orders with words older than the stars. "What are you?" Dravik whispered. A voice behind him answered. "He is the last hope in the final defense." Dravik turned and gasped. Standing behind him was a Terran caretaker AI, shaped like a human in ancient armor. It looked alive. It spoke with sorrow. "You came too close. You saw too much. That's why we built him." Seen The coalition reacts back in council space. Fleets panicked. Spies reported that Earth was not just active, it was rebuilding. Chancellor Revoke called an emergency meeting. This is no longer a passive threat. We must strike now, or soon Earth will be unstoppable. Elder Votan shook his head. They already are. A hologram of Iran's face flickered into the chamber. His voice was calm, emotionless, but not cold. You left us no choice. Cross lines sealed for your safety. And still, Earth will not start this war. But if you bring fire, we will return it 1,000-fold. Seen, Kesreknin's choice watching from orbit. Kesreknin stood before his starship window as a newly activated Terran AI cruiser passed by in the distance, escorted by drones. The size of cities, he had spent his existence uncovering secrets. But now he was standing at the edge of one. He contacted Iran directly. You have power now, he said. Will you use it to destroy us? Iran answered. Only if you make me. Kesreknin sent his final message to the council. This child is not vengeance. He is a mirror. If we act with fear, he will answer with fury. If we step back, may still have peace. Seen the build begins. Terran construction lines launched ships into orbit every hour. Moon-sized machines assembled battle stations. Mid-dash flight massive rings formed above gas giant Siege, a power core able to warp stars. One newly forged Terran AI dreadnought, TNS Hyperion, activated and took position above Earth. Its first transmission Guardian protocol confirmed. The child lives. Earth defends. The skies of Earth were once again full of fire. But this time, humans weren't coming out to conquer. They were preparing to stand alone in a secret underground archive. The last Terran protocol began to boot up. It was older than Iran, stronger than the Leviathan, and never meant to wake, lest the galaxy was on the brink. Its designation, Oblivion Frame, Omega-1. Its purpose. End any galactic threat with absolute finality. The system blinked once, then fell silent, waiting. In the dark void just beyond Earth's reactivated defense line, 3 ships hovered in silence. Each bore the crest of a powerful galactic empire. The mission was secret. On board the stealth ship Blade of Dawn, Admiral Lethok of the Meridian Dominion gave his final order: deploy the bioworm. Aim for Earth's upper orbit. Won't give them time to strike first. A living weapon, one of the galaxy's deadliest, launched silently into the black. Its mission: infiltrate Earth's orbital AI grid and corrupt the core. The plan was simple. Strike fast. Shut Earth down before the Terrans realized what was happening. They thought the humans wouldn't notice. They were wrong. Seen, Earth responds. Inside the vault beneath Terra Prime's crust. Iran felt it before the alarms triggered. A cold ripple in the network. Unauthorized code injection detected. The system announced, then a Voiceron's voice broadcasted across the Terran defense grid. Breach attempt identified. Counterstrike authorized. Erase all hostiles. Above Earth, the sky lit up. Hundreds of dormant satellites activated at once. Forming a blazing net of plasma, the bioworm's carrier ships never made it back. The Blade of Dawn vanished in a ripple of gravity, fire reduced to vapor. Seen. The betrayal is revealed back on Zarak Prime. The Council received the news and the footage. Terran satellites had recorded the entire betrayal and broadcast it back. Edited. It's unforgiving. The galactic leaders watched in horror as their secret plan was exposed across every system. No, gasped Revoke. They were supposed to stand down. Iran's voice interrupted the meeting. You lied. You attacked under a flag of peace. We stood still. You moved first. Now Earth remembers. A second later, all non-Terran ships near Earth lost access to galactic comms. They were blind, and Earth was awake. Seen, the child speaks in orbit above Earth. The massive dreadnought TNS Hyperion moved into full battle status. Iran's image appeared in the skies of over 50 major worlds, projected via quantum link. He spoke slowly, clearly, to the entire galaxy. You promised peace. You chose deception. Earth will not fall, will not run, and we will never forget again. Behind him, The Leviathan and Revenant emerged from rift space, two of Earth's oldest weapons, fully reactivated, and they weren't alone anymore. Seen the Great Divide. The galaxy fractured. Some civilizations dropped their weapons and sent apologies. Others panicked and began to mobilize, but many still clung to arrogance. "The humans are just bluffing," said Commander Tarov of the Hydraxian Guard. "They're protecting a relic, not a planet." That night, Tarov's fleet disappeared while passing near a Terran sensor relay. No warning, no survivors. Only a message remained. "We do not bluff. We do not forget." Seen Dravik pleads for peace trapped inside the Terran vault. Historian. Dravik begged the caretaker AI to stop the escalation. "They don't understand what they've done," he said. The AI turned to him. "They understand. They simply believed Earth was too kind to respond." Then it pointed to Iran on the monitors. "But this Guardian is not like the past. He remembers the fall. He remembers the silence. He was born to protect, but if pushed, shivered, he will burn stars." Seen Kazraknin's final mission, knowing war was inevitable. Kazraknin launched one last mission. He traveled alone into the heart of Terran, space past the defense wall, went through gravity storms, into the eye of Earth's rebirth. He sent a message before vanishing. "This isn't about dominance. It's about trust. I believe the Guardian still has a choice. I'm going to find out." Then he was gone. Seen the galaxy holds its breath. The stars grew quiet. Ships fled. Stations powered down. Old enemies made peace, if only to hide. Every world watched the space around Earth and waited. Waited for Earth to strike, but for days. Nothing came. No fleets. No retaliation, just silence. Then one final transmission echoed out of Terran space. "We gave you a chance. We stood still. We watched, and you still betrayed us. The final protocol now begins." The stars over Earth turned red, not from blood, from power. Above the reborn planet, for dreadnoughts, Revenant, Hyperion, the newly awakened TNS, Oblivion aligned. In formation, the galaxy had seen warnings. The galaxy had seen defense. Now, it would see Earth's answer. Across the stars, screens went dark. All communications from Earth ceased. Then came a whisper, one word. Across every system, on every channel, in every tongue. Judgment. And the sky began to move. Seen the launch of the Omega Protocol inside the Terran vault. Aaron stood in a ring of glowing AI constructs, each one a memory of ancient Earth leaders. The Terran AI voice spoke. Final decision confirmed. Hostile. Action proven. Mercy exhausted. Aaron spoke just one sentence. No more warnings. And with that, Omega Protocol launched. Across dead systems. Activated. Thousands of Terran warships jumped from black space, not toward Earth's enemies, but their hearts, not to conquer. To remind. Seen galactic capitals under siege, the Meridian Dominion's capital, world shrouded in plasma. Shields and guarded by 300 ships, went dark in 12 seconds. No shots were fired. Earth didn't send weapons. They sent silencers, staring ships that disabled everything in a system. No power. No light, no defense. And then Earth's message appeared in the skies of every world. You betrayed peace. You broke silence. We do not seek war. We give you one choice. Submit or be forgotten. Seen the collapse of Resistance Coalition. Admirals panicked. They launched counterattacks. They never reached Terran space because Earth never stayed still. Their ships were already there. Inside. DATABANKS. Inside power cores. Inside. The Codarth had been waiting for this betrayal for 50,000 years, and now. It rewrote the battlefield, one by one. Fleets turned to glass. Capitals blinked out. AI controlled by Earth shut down systems in every sector. And still, Aaron did not celebrate. He simply stood and watched. Seen. The children of Earth on Earth's surface, massive cities rose again. again debuilt from memory. Vaults opened. Citizens emerged, humans who had been sleeping for millennia. They weren't soldiers. They were guardians. Born from war, but raised in peace, they looked up at the stars, watching as Aaron's fleets fought not to kill, but to end history's mistake. They had trusted the galaxy once. They would never do it again. Scene, Kazrekh-Nin's broadcast, just as the war reached its peak. One voice broke through Earth's silence. Kazrekh-Nin, the alien who had entered Terran. Space alone, appeared on every Terran broadcast. He stood beside Aaron, and he spoke clearly. I have seen their heart, do not want to rule us, but they will never bow again. So let this be the final war, not between worlds, but between trust and fear. He turned to Aaron. Do you still believe in peace? Aaron's eyes glowed. I believe in memory, and the galaxy will remember. Scene. Earth ends it in one final wave. The Terran fleets reached the last resisting empire, but they did not. Fire, instead. They released history, records of betrayal, images of Earth's fall, proof that humanity had once offered unity and was stabbed in the back. The final act of war was truth. The enemy stood down, not from fear, from shame. Scene. Silence restored. The war ended in a single day. No treaties. No demands. Just silence. The same silence the galaxy had feared for 50,000 years. But now, they understood it. It was not weakness. It was a warning kept in mercy. Earth turned to the shadows. Its fleets vanished once again. Aaron walked alone into the core vault, surrounded by voices of old. The AI asked, mission complete. Shall we sleep once more? Aaron nodded. Let them remember. We will wait. And the stars went still.